Hey everyone, it's Liz. I decided to do like a tour of all the RPG systems I own. I don't know exactly how many I have. I have a bit of a collection, so I'm going to tally them up as we go. Number 1, honorable mention, D&D 5e. Not my favorite. I only play it if I have no other options, but it's good to have the books. Next, the game I play the most, Pathfinder 2e. I have the remastered version and the legacy version as well. I like the legacy version because it has the core rule book instead of the player core and GM core split into different books. But what can you do? I own them all anyway. So now into some of my more obscure RPGs that I really just like to read the rule books. Now, some of these I haven't really touched all that much, so I'm sorry if I get some details about it wrong, but here are some of them. Well, all of them. So this one is called Badger and Coyote. So the premise is that badgers and coyotes team up in the wild. This is a 2-player GM-less RPG where you write the story together. I've played it a couple times with my husband. It's a good fun. It's a bit of fun. It's very short and simple. It's got like 6 pages of rules. So it's very short and easy to learn, and you just, if I remember right, you make a situation, you decide what the situation is, and you roll some dice to see how it's resolved. It's very simple, but it's a lot of fun if you have a good RP partner. So that one's fun. This one I haven't played. I'm really excited about it. It's called Spell. So basically, here's a little bit. My camera is not very good. But it's a really fun looking RPG. Basically, you have letters, kind of like Scrabble. I think you use Scrabble tiles. And you spell out magic that you want to do. So like the examples on the cover are grow, shock, and shrink, and bubble. And you spell out a word and you tell the GM, like, this is what I expect the spell to do. This is how I want it to work. It's very cool. I think there's a board game too. This one is Paleozoic Pals. It's a Troika supplement. I have the RPG of Troika as a digital form. Oh no, I haven't been tallying up everything. I'm giving up. I'll count them at the end. But so this, I bought it because the cover is really pretty. It's so cute, but you play as dinosaurs with the Troika rules, which I have not read. You can get the Troika rules for free online on their website. You can just get a PDF emailed to you. But then, the supplements, like this one where you turn into dinosaurs, are going to be different. I bought this at my local game store, which is pretty much where I bought all of these. These next 3 I bought yesterday. This is Pigeons 11. You are a pigeon and you do crimes. This game you will probably not be arrested for playing this game, probably. But it's very fun looking. It's meant for one-shots, so it's a really nice one. I'm going to play it hopefully with my party, if not everyone can make it, and we still want to play something. That and Goblin Errands, which I'll get to soon. Actually, I think I didn't bring the Goblin Errands book. I think I have that somewhere else. I'll bring it. This one is Mothership. I'll cover up the tag because it shows what store I got it from. This one I'm playing a campaign of this one. It's the first game I've played in a long time. So I'm very excited about it, and I wanted to get the rule book. I'm not sure if I got the right thing. This is the Player's Survival Guide, and there were 4 books on the shelf, all of Mothership, so I hope I got the right one. But it's the Player's Survival Guide, so I imagine it has the rules in there. But it's a sci-fi horror RPG. The girl at the store told me that it's written by a psychologist, so it uses like a lot of psychology to make it horror-esque, which is very cool. I don't play a lot of horror games. I want to explore like the horror genre more in games, but I don't have any experience with it. So hopefully this campaign that I joined will be good for that and show me like how to run it, what it can be like. I'm very excited. This one is Cowboys with Big Hearts. I read the intro and I don't remember. You're either the old cowboy that's dying, or you're helping an old cowboy that's dying. And the premise seems to be that like you're tracking down the embodiment of death and going to slay it. I only read like the first couple pages. I need to sit down and read this, but it looks really interesting. It looks like a pretty simple system, which I like. I really like Pathfinder 2e, which is very rules dense, but I enjoy the simpler systems where you can just pick it up and play it with some friends. Just teach them the rules in 20 minutes and then have a good time. This next one I'm really excited about. It's called Ink. It has a very cool premise where you pick a character that you've played in the past that died, and Ink is about them going like from their death to the afterlife. Something has happened after they died that's stopping them from getting them where they're going. And so you get to play this character one final time as you help them on their journey. And it's a very cool premise. I've decided that if I have a TPK and like usually my TPKs I'm like, oh well, you really survived, you got captured, whatever. That's happened a couple times. But if we have a TPK, I've considered playing this to either resolve the characters dying, or it's not the intention of the game to bring them back to life, but I could spin it that way. But it's a very cool premise that I don't think we're going to get to do in my main game, but it would be really interesting. But it's a really cool looking game. I really like it. I haven't read the whole book. I haven't read the whole book of almost any of these, except this next one, Girl by Moonlight. I read this basically cover to cover a few months ago. It's really cool. It has a really cool mechanic where you ascend beyond what people think of you, like beyond your persona. You become your true state of being, whatever that means for your character. But you also have the opposite of that, where you take damage or like emotional stress points. I forget what it's called. I think it's called stress. And you become the opposite of who you really are. And you can actually, if you don't get out of that state, you can actually become so edgy that you die. Like your character dies because they're being so dramatic. It's very funny. Obviously, a character dying isn't all that funny, but just the way it happens is like you become so dramatically not yourself that you perish. I just love that mechanic. I think it's so charming and wonderful. This one, I haven't opened my copy of this book. I've read my dad's copy. It's called Root. It's an RPG based on a board game, and it's a lot of fun. You play little woodland creatures. It's a Powered by the Apocalypse game, so it has that rule set. You roll 2d6 to determine your success rate. And you have actions that you can do, like trick an NPC or persuade an NPC, charge, and there's different character types, like classes. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun little game. There's like factions that you have to build reputation with, or if you lose reputation, you have a harder time, and the town's owned by that faction. But it's a lot of fun. I played it with my family for a while. That campaign has sort of fizzled out. I'm not sure if we're going to pick it back up again, but it's a very charming RPG. This one, Scum and Villainy, is another Powered by the Apocalypse game. And I haven't read this book at all. I got it because it looks really cool. It's a sci-fi. I think it's similar to Monster of the Week, but it's like in space. It's very sci-fi, kind of like Firefly, if you know that show. Great show. but you go on missions and you try to survive, achieve your mission, is what I understand about the book. I have not read it at all. I never opened this book once, but I love that I have it, and I love that I have the option to play it. I will sit down and read it one day because I love reading rule books, but I intend to do a review of these RPGs once I have a better understanding of them. But I'm very excited about this one. I've had it for probably about a year now. This next one, Monster of the Week. I have a couple bookmarks in here, so I was reading it at one point, but not super recently. Monster of the Week you're probably familiar with. I think it's the original Powered by the Apocalypse game. Don't correct me. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, I guess, in the comments. But it's, it's like based off a Monster of the Week show like Supernatural or Eureka, where something goes wrong every week and they have to solve it, and then everything's normal again until the next thing happens. But I think the McElroys played this game. I think it was Amnesty, but I haven't listened to that in a while. I never finished it. But it's a very fun-looking game. Usually, as I get better at homebrewing stuff, I'm going to start playing this game more. But right now, I'm not. I'm working on my first homebrew campaign, so this is very homebrew heavy from what I understand. I think they do have some published adventures that I've looked at, but I haven't bought the book. This game I bought because the book is so pretty. Ryutama. It's like an anime RPG where you travel. So basically, in the culture of the book, the culture of the world, so at some point in everybody's life, they go on a journey. Like, they just go on a journey, they leave everything behind, they travel for, I think, a year, and their adventures helps shape them into the person that they are. There's also, like, gods. The GM has their own character called the Ryujin, I believe it's pronounced, and they, like, help the PCs on their way if they need it. The PCs can... I haven't read this book in a while. They, like, tell their stories of their journeys to the Ryujin, and the Ryujin will grant them boons, I think. But I bought it mostly for the aesthetics. Like, even the pages in this book are just so pretty. Like, the decorations around it, it's just a beautiful game. And I bought the PDF first, but it wasn't enough. I had to get the actual book, so I saved up for it. But I want to play that one eventually, too. I think my mom would like that one pretty well, and she's not big into RPGs. But this next one is the playtest for Starfinder 2nd Edition. I do not have Starfinder 1st Edition because I'm in love with the Pathfinder 2e rules, and I didn't want to learn a whole new rule set just to play Starfinder, because sci-fi isn't normally my type of genre. I like high fantasy, but I did want to try the playtest rule book. I have not tried it yet. I have the little adventure, one of the little adventures that they published. I haven't tried it with anybody yet. Hopefully I will before the playtest is over, but either way, it's cool to have the book. And this last one is... well, not the last one, because I still need to go find the other book I'm missing. My Little Pony role-playing game. I bought this mostly for the novelty. I don't think I'm ever going to play this. I have a couple people vaguely interested. It's I forget what this system is called, but it's the same system as, like, the G.I. Joe Transformers RPG. They just tacked it onto MLP. I know there's another My Little Pony role-playing game that is like Bridalwood or something. I don't remember, but I want to get that one because I've heard better reviews of that one, saying it feels more like an MLP game. But this one, I just wanted to read it. It's really interesting how they involve magic and, like, the different stats if you choose to be a Pegasus, Unicorn, Earth Pony, whatever. But I bought it mostly for the novelty. I'm probably not going to play it. But let me go get the Goblin Errands one. I will be right back, and I will cut probably the break. Alright, this one is Goblin Errands. It's probably my favorite one-book RPG that I have, just because it's the one that I've played. It's so cute. You play as goblins in a world not built for you, so you're the little goblins, and the people are, they consider goblins pests like a lot of people regard pigeons. You know, they're just kind of a nuisance. I don't think of pigeons that way. I love pigeons. But that's kind of the NPC's attitude towards the goblins. But in the game, you play as young goblins on their first adventure to run errands for their community into the big world, and you have to find whatever you've rolled. So sometimes information, mailing a letter, getting groceries. There's a whole chart, so the GM actually doesn't prepare the adventure beforehand. Would you stop that? Stop. My cat's eating stuff. The GM doesn't prepare stuff beforehand. There's a rollable table that tells you, like this one, whoops, the need, the errand, the place, and what person it involves. I don't know that it'll ever focus. But it's really just a charming game. It doesn't involve death. Like, there's not any peril unless the group wants there to be, but the intention is to be a very light-hearted game where you're just getting into trouble but not any peril. So it's a lot of fun, and this is my go-to for if my whole group can't be there for the game. We'll play this one instead. But it's a very simple rule set. You roll, I think, 1 or 2 d6, and to your different stats. So hands, eyes, legs, and mouth, you assign stats to those. Frame is always 0, so that's like how strong you are, and goblins are not very strong, so you're probably not going to succeed at anything that's frame based. But heart is where that's like how it's your heart. You know, goblins are very full of energy. I don't know how to explain it. The book explains it better. But heart is infinity, so you always succeed at a heart roll. But then there's different mechanics to it. Like, there's the spoon. If you're playing in person, you pass a spoon around. Whoever has it can use their special abilities on their sheets. And the classes are based off, they can't name it, I guess, for legal purposes, but off 8 classes from the most popular role-playing game. But it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it, and the artwork on the front is just so cute, and on the back as well. I had to rip off the sticker because it was covering a goblin, but it ripped the book a little bit. But it's a lot of fun. Let's see how many tallied up I have. I have 18 systems. Well, like 17 and a half, because one is the Pathfinder Legacy and Remastered. So that's hardly a different system. But yeah, 18. I think that's pretty good. I intend to get more, but I like reading rule books, and I like having more obscure RPGs. I technically started with D&D. I played 2 sessions of a campaign that immediately fell apart. But Pathfinder 2e was my real introduction to RPGs and like where I got comfortable. That's what I've run. My major campaign next is going to continue to be Pathfinder 2e, but I think after that I'm going to try like Scum and Villainy or Inc. or maybe even Monster of the Week. I'm not as excited about that one, but I would like to play all the RPGs I have at some point. But some are much more likely than others. But thank you for looking through my collection with me. I love just looking through all the books I have. I have so many more RPG books in general, but maybe I'll go through all my books at one point. So we shall see. Have a good one.